Hello everyone, welcome back. Tom with Capo Fetish. Today we're going to go 40 years back in time, all the way back to 1983. We're going to count down our 10 favorite albums of that year. So without further ado, I'm going to start off with number 10 here. The Rhythmic Touch album. This is coming right off the heels of their previous album, Sweet Dreams. This has a slew of great hits. One thing about the Rhythmics back in this period, just amazing singles band. But this whole album is really solid. So we got Here Comes the Rain Again, Here Comes the Rain Again. Great, great single. We also have Who's That Girl, which also featured an amazing video with Annie Lennox. There's a song on here, a third single release from this album that I just absolutely love called Right By Your Side. It has this kind of calypso vibe, this really infectious melody, and just superb vocal from Annie Lennox. Also on this album, we have other great songs like Regrets, The First Cut, Aqua, Paint a Rumor ends the album. Really great stuff. But Right By Your Side is my absolute favorite. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. Coming in at number 10, the Rhythmic Touch. Coming in at number 9 is Speaking in Tongues by the Talking Heads. This is a very commercial record for the Talking Heads, coming off the heels of Remain in Light from 1980. This has a little more of a commercial appeal. You have Burning Down the House. One of my favorite tunes on here, which was a hit as well, is This Must Be the Place, Naive Melody, which ends the album. I love that tune. It's one of my favorite Talking Heads tunes. Also, Girlfriend is Better. Yeah, it's just a great follow-up to Remain in Light. And this is kind of the start of their real commercial appeal. After this, you'd have Little Creatures, True Stories, and then Naked. So this is kind of the start of their real commercial appeal in a big way. And then they'd go on and tour with Stop Making Sense. That was a great concert film. So this is coming in at number 9, Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues. Coming in at number 8 is one of the best Fuck You albums of all time. And I'm talking about the Replacements' Hootenanny. This is their second full-length album. After Sorry Ma Forgot to Take Out the Trash, they also had an EP before this album called Stink. But this album, though, is completely just a big middle finger to the establishment, to the record business, in my opinion. It has one of their greatest rock songs, Color Me Impressed. I remember seeing them open with that number at the Hollywood Palladium back in '89. It just absolutely just was a killer opener. You have all these kind of strange experimental pieces like Willpower, Buck Hill. Within Your Reach is a great tune. I think it's just a Westerbrook solo song that he did as a demo. You've got You Lose, Heyday, and then you've got really just the absolute drunken Treatment Bound ending the record. And then, of course, the title track, Hootenanny, Run It, Mr. Worley, Take Me Down to the Hospital. This is the most loosest Replacements album in their catalog, even more loose than Sorry Ma. But it has a charm. And it's just, it's not an album I play all the time, but sometimes when I just feel like cutting loose, I put this on, and it's a great listen. So the Replacements, Hootenanny, coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is a fine debut album from the Violent Femmes, self-titled. This is a CD version with a couple of bonus tracks. You got Blister in the Sun, huge hit. Add It Up, another huge hit. Kiss Off. Gone Daddy Gone. The whole album is just chock full of great acoustic punk. And a little backstory. It looks like back in 82 or maybe 81, James Honeyman Scott, the guitarist for the Pretenders, discovered them busking outside some club somewhere, loved their music, and got them signed. They were originally signed to Slash Records. This was released by Rhino, I think back in the early 90s or late 80s as a reissue, but just a great album. Sure, a lot of the songs have been played to death, but I remember seeing the Violent Femmes play at the San Diego Street Fair back in '99. Great show. Somebody was spitting on the stage, and the bass player said, if anybody does it again, we're leaving. And of course, someone spit, and they left. They were off the stage, and then X followed them. But great debut, Violent Femmes, coming in at number 7. Going to a whole different type of music. We got Stevie Ray Vaughan coming in at number 6, Texas Flood. This is a really important album here. This is kind of like the start of the blues revival in the 1980s. Incredible talent. it has been said that he was asked by David Bowie to go on tour with him during the Moonlight Tour or the Let's Dance Tour, and he declined. He did end up playing on two or three of Bowie's songs on the Let's Dance album, the title track, Let's Dance, China Girl. But this album is just a winner from start to finish. Love Struck Baby, Pride and Joy, huge commercial hit, still played on FM radio. Texas Flood, great song. Testify, Tell Me. Rude Mood, Mary Had a Little Lamb. But my favorite track on here is the last track called Lenny. It has this very Hendrix-like May This Be Love kind of vibe off of Are You Experience. It's an instrumental. It's just gorgeous. And yeah, this is just a phenomenal first record of many great records to follow from Stevie Ray Vaughan. Texas Flood, coming in at number 6. Number 5 is Australian band The Go-Betweens. Their album Before Hollywood. Let me take this out here. This is a double CD reissue. One CD is the original release. The other CD is 8 bonus tracks. Here's the front cover. Great song here. That the first I ever heard of the Go-Betweens was the song Cattle and Cane. Just one of the greatest early 80s singles. Just it's really the jittery drum beat. So in this band, you've got Robert Forster and Grant McLennan. They're the main songwriters. And at this point, it's just a 3-piece with drummer Linda Morrison. But so many great songs on here. I really love, I was just listening to this today. 2 Steps, that track 2 on side 1 is fantastic. You got Dusty in here, As Long as That, On My Block, and it ends with That Way. And then, of course, Cattle and Cane. Just really great stuff. The Go-Betweens, Before Hollywood, an amazing record from 1983, coming in on my list at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is an album that no one really talks about. They're only known for one hit, I Touched Myself, back in 1989 or 1990. But the Divinals' first album, Desperate, is a great debut record. And it got a little bit of airplay back in the day, but the Boys in Town, I think, got a little bit of airplay, the first track. There's a song on here called Only Lonely. Track 2 is just so good. They really rock. They rock in kind of a Pretenders type way. They have their own kind of vibe. You got Chrissy Afflet on lead vocals. She passed away maybe 8 or 10 years ago. But they were an incredible live band. They played at the US Festival. I remember her smearing like lipstick all over her face and wearing ratty clothes. A very, just a really great front woman. But this whole album is just chock full of great songs. LC, I really highly recommend it if you haven't heard this album. This is a different type of Divinals than I Touch Myself. Very rockin' all the way through, a lot of attitude, great hooks throughout, great guitar playing. Very highly recommended. Check it out. The Divinals' first album, self-titled. This is coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is another really underrated record in the XTC catalog, and that album is Mummer. This is coming off the heels of English Settlement. So after their disastrous 1982 tour, after Andy Partridge suffered a mental breakdown, they decided just to become a studio band. And this album has a more kind of pastoral feel than English Settlement. A lot more acoustic guitar. I think some of their greatest songs are on here. Wonderland by Colin Moulding is just fantastic, really gorgeous. Great Fire by Andy Partridge. Love on a Farm Boy's Wages. Just great Andy Partridge, top tier type songs. You've got Lady Bird, another great Andy Partridge song. I mean, it's not perfect all the way through. I'd say maybe about, for my taste, maybe about 90%. But it's just a great, important record in the discography of XTC. After this would be The Big Express, and then they would kind of find commercial success with Dear God, Skylarking, Oranges and Lemons, and Nonsuch. But this is kind of a mid-period album for them, a great mid-period album. And it's kind of grown on me over the years. When I first heard it back in '83, I wasn't blown over, but it just has some really choice cuts. So this is coming in at number 3 for me, Mummer from XTC. Coming in at number 2 is the 4th album from LA band X, More Fun in the New World. X could not do any wrong for about 4 albums. Their first 4 albums are just absolutely almost perfect. This is a great, great album. They're kind of getting a little more rootsy on this record. Starts off with The New World with a great guitar line by Billy Zoom. And then, of course, we do have some punk going on. We're Having Much More Fun, True Love. They do Breathless by Jerry Lee Lewis, which was kind of a single at the time, kind of a hit. Devil Doll Rocks, Painting the Town Blue. I Must Not Think Bad Thoughts. It's kind of a cool little vibe to it. And then it ends with kind of a funky rave up, True Love Part 2 on side 2. But all of it is really, really top-notch X. Probably my least favorite of the first 4 albums, but the last album Billy Zoom would play on for, well, he was on 8 Love Grand. That was 1985 when they were trying to go really commercial, but don't really care for that album much. But this is like, you know, one of the must-haves if you're getting into X, along with Wild Gift, Under the Big Black Sun, and Los Angeles. So another just excellent record from X. More Fun in the New World coming in at number 2 for me from 1983. And coming in at number 1 is an album that has really stood the test of time, and that is RMs Murmur. When I picked this up back in '83, the summer of '83, I had no idea who the band was. They were showcasing this album in the window. I asked the clerk in the front, so what do they sound like? He goes, The Byrds. It's very birdsy. I'm like, I'm in. So I picked it up, and I became just a huge fan of early REM from then on. Reckoning, Fables. But this album, it's going to still sound great in 40 years from now. It doesn't really sound like it belongs in the 80s. It has its own time period. And I think what's really captivating about it is the songwriting. The songs are so well written. Even though you can't hear anything Stipe's talking about, it just adds this mystique to the band and to the songs. I mean, Catapult, West of the Fields. You know, my least favorite song on here is probably Radio Free Europe, but I still like it. But some of the other songs on here, like Laughing, Talk About the Passion, Sitting Still. I mean, there's just not a dud in the bunch. It's just one of those absolute perfect albums. The flow is perfect, the sequencing. Catapult, Sitting Still, 9-9, Shaking Through, We Walk, West of the Fields, Pilgrimage is such an amazing song. What else is side 2? You got end of side 2. You got Moral Kiosk, which is really, really, really cool. And what is that one? Perfect Circle, one of their great early ballads. It's just a perfect album. I mean, it's just one of the greats of all time. And for me, this is just head and shoulders above all my other favorites of 1983. REM's Murmur coming in at number 1. And that's my top 10. Please list your top 10 in the comments section. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.